everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and I wanted to show you how to replace the glass screen on the front of an iPad Air. This is actually my sister's iPad Air, and it's got some tape on it, and if I flip it over, you'll see it's in pretty poor shape. It's shattered, it's got some tape over it to keep the glass together, and I'm going to replace this, and what I've chosen to replace it with is the iFixit front glass digitizer panel kit. Now, this is not a sponsored video, but iFixit was nice enough to send this part along for review. So I appreciate that, so thank you, iFixit. And this part comes in at about $55, $54.95 from their website, and it includes all of the tools you need in order to remove the screen and put the new one on, including the front digitizer, which is underneath here. So we're going to heat this up, put it on the front. We've got all the different tools, drivers and things we need, pry tools, even little cards here to help pry everything up. So we've got everything ready to go and some stickers they sent along. So great stuff from iFixit. Also a suction cup to help us pull the display up. So everything we need in order to get this moving. So what I'm going to do is heat this up. But before I do that, I'm going to take the glass screen on the front and then I'm going to tape across it. Now it has some tape across the back. I'm going to have to remove that so that I can actually pry the screen up and not have that as a problem. But I also need to put it across the front because I've replaced iPad screens before. Actually, MacBook screens were worse, and they just shatter. And if they shatter, they leave little shards of glass everywhere, and we don't want that. So the tape will keep all of this in place while I'm prying it, heating it up. So basically, we'll put the tape across it. We'll heat this up, put it like this, and pry along the corners and get the glass screen up. Once we do that, we'll take a look at what it looks like underneath. Now I've heated this up in the microwave for 30 seconds. Then we put it on this side. This is the home button here. So we've got it on the left side if you're looking at it, and you're going to leave it here for about a minute. Once you've left it here for about a minute, we should be able to pull up one of the sides and pop one of these little picks underneath it. So we'll see how that goes. Now we still have a few more seconds to wait before we try prying this up, but what we need to do is be very careful of different components that are underneath here. So obviously here we have a camera and it's pretty damaged. We also have some cables down here on the bottom for antennas, and we also have display cables along this edge. So we have to be very careful when we're prying so we don't damage some of those. So we'll go ahead and give this just a second more, and then we'll see if we can pry it up. I don't know if we can get suction with this just because we have tape there, so I'm not really sure if that will work, but we'll give it a try. So I'm not getting any suction here because this glass is pretty badly damaged right there anyway. Let's see if we can pry this up a little bit underneath. One of the hardest things to do is actually get this to work right because this side is so shattered. It's really hard to actually go down the edge and pry it up. So you'll see right there, it's pretty badly shattered underneath all this tape, and I've got to be very careful as I pry it up. So I've got to work along the edge, prying it up ever so slowly so I can get it to do what I need it to do. So it's going to take some time, and as I get around here, what we'll do is we'll move the screen is off, and it was a very tedious, lengthy process because it broke into many different pieces. So I've gone around the entire edge, cleaned all the adhesive off, and the LCD is only held in with 4 screws. So right here, 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 and here. And basically you need to get the glass out of the way, fold the glass up, undo the display, take the display out slightly so you can undo these 3 screws right here. And once you have those screws out, you can pop the connector for the LCD display off. And here is the LCD. It's just an LCD display. There's the connector. There's the display. And I'll be putting that back on and making sure it's nice and clean. But first we need to put the glass on. And here is the new glass. And as you can see, we've got the connectors. They're taped up. And we have adhesive around the entire outside. Now this adhesive can go on after, and it sticks very tight. It's already pre-applied, but you need to make sure this is very clean, and that's probably the most tedious part, is cleaning this whole piece right here. Very, very tedious, and once you've got it done, it's a relief because it takes so long. just to get all the adhesive. You don't want any residue left. In fact, there's a little bit right there. And the glass shards get everywhere. I would advise, if you can, even do it outside almost, just so you don't get it all over, or put it on a big mat so you don't get that all over. So what I'll do now is reconnect these connectors. Now this is the home button, and this is the home button connector, and this is very, very fragile, and you just have to be very careful when you do this. And this connector is a little tricky. It kind of slides in under this little latch right here. Right here, if I can get it for you, is that connector, and it slides in right here. Very difficult to do. I used my tweezers to help me install the home button ribbon cable, and there's some adhesive along the edge here that I'll take off after. And next we want to install the display cables. Now that I have these cables installed, I'll need to install the display. Here's the display. I'll need to clean it afterward because it's kind of gross and it was a little bit difficult to do. So you didn't see this before. What happens here is this comes down and then plugs on top here. So this is plugged in top. It holds everything in place, but now we need to put the screws in place. And these are some of the tiniest screws you'll probably ever see. Now all of the cables are in place. I'll lay this down. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky. This lays into place like this, but you have to kind of slide these cables along as well. So here's one of the screws that goes in place. There's a little sticker there I just had to pull out of the way. Now, one of the things I didn't show earlier is this little case that comes with iFixit. This holds all the different screws, so I just sorted them there. It's really nice and really easy to use. So I'll set that aside. Set my tweezers aside. I'll clean the screen up, and then what we'll do is we'll take the adhesive off of this. These are the little adhesive tabs, and then we'll stick the whole thing down. Now, before I fasten anything down, I wanted to turn it on and make sure it works. So this is still loose, and if I reach under here, hit the home button, it turns on, and you'll see it moves fine, so I know everything works. The display has been cleaned. It's got some scratches from the glass and everything else, but it's not perfect, but at least it works. And we can turn it off here. Just shut this, and we'll shut it down. We'll get the screen fixed to the front, and we should be good to go. So the screen has been pushed down after all the adhesive has been removed, all the stickers. Here's all of the different ones that go around it. And the home button works, the different parts of the screen slide, and everything seems to be working. Now, I wouldn't recommend this to anyone that doesn't have a lot of time on their hand or patience, because this is extremely tedious. It does work, and the screen's working fine, and I'm really grateful to iFixit for sending it along. They also sent along this toolkit. I'll leave a link to it in the description below, along with the display. This toolkit I did a separate video on as well. So this looks really nice. Let me take the display screen off. You can see it's adhered really nicely, and it's nice and sensitive. Now, I wouldn't expect it to be perfect. There are some imperfections under the display because of all of the glass shards and everything when I replaced it, but it looks really nice. I need to clean the back up now too, but overall I think it's a nice display, and for about $55 you can get one that looks pretty much stock. The only thing is the home button looks a little bit different, and that's not Touch ID. So you can tell that it's been changed, but it works fine. The home button works, and everything's sealed nicely now that all the adhesive has been cleaned off. So if you have any comments or questions, if you've used this display, let us know in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.